2024 has started.
Look out.
Kate, I haven't bought 2 bikes.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, they're not mine.
Okay.
Definitely, that is just not worth risking. That is like playing Russian roulette with 6 bullets in a gun. That is not mine. So these are JDM or JD Motorsport bikes. So Dan, who runs me when I go racing, who's hiding over there, looks after these 2 bikes for British Supersport. And he's a bit dense when it comes to smart things, so he has to come down here and get saved. So we're just going to run through a few little bits and pieces around some sensors and some pin out. Because these were Van Sickleris's bikes, weren't they, last year's? Yeah. So you never really get like wiring diagrams and stuff like that. So when it comes to then you trying to build up your spares package, if you haven't got stuff, you have no idea who's built the loom, how they've built it, what's like, you end up with bits like this, look, where you've got sub harnesses.
Yep.
So like that's Yamaha, that's Binder, that's something else, that's it. So we just need to go through it. He's got a load of questions and we figure it all out.
So
But
what's what?
these are factory mate. Mine are the same level, but these are on Metronic, so the ECU is Metronic, which is World Supersport ECU,
yep,
with BSB firmware in, and then like 2D dash, so that's a MoTeC dash. That's what they run in, like MoTeC, World Supersport, that kind of thing. Whereas mine's a MoTeC bike, so mine's got MoTeC ECU and MoTeC dash, but when you start looking at it, like the buttons, all very similar to mine.
Yep.
So yeah. Right.
Let's have a look.
Let's get voltmeter out then, shall we? Get through the intro. That was a long intro, wasn't it?
That was a long intro.
Get through the intro and we see what's what.
Let's do it. What are we doing then, bud?
So the bike came with a 12 volt MoTeC oil pressure sensor on it, but Metronic uses 5 volt signal voltage. So at the minute we're just trying to work out how the oil pressure was plumbed in.
Yeah.
So what the pin out is on the oil pressure, and then we can sort of not fix, but then we know whether the oil pressure sensor, the spare pressure sensors we've got are right. Because what we've got there,
pins, mate.
so it is a 3 pin.
That's the same one here. I've got the same
Right.
here. Look.
Okay, so if we trace that back, where does it go to then? Does it tie into the main harness coupe that runs up the side?
I think so.
So right now what we're trying to do is figure out whether we are a 12 volt feed for the oil pressure or a 5 volt feed. So we do that. So we've got front pressure, rear pressure, front brake, battery. Yeah. Wow, you got no sensors in anything. Nothing. 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 Wow. It's not a good start. I have nothing at all, son.
That's why I saw that.
So that's just potted to a binder. Then that one must be front. That's then front pot, yeah? Yeah, that's front pot.
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
So that's on that Yamaha adapter then.
Yeah, front pot's still on, on these.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're in.
Yeah, we're in.
But this is the problem though, right? This is a bit...
Everybody does stuff differently, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
They have their own little ways.
Right. Right, so front pot's good.
Yeah.
Right, so if we now start here again. Right, so if I go ground, I think this is 5 volt. $12 volts, 5 volt, 0, 0, 5 volt, 0. Right, that answers that. It's a 5 volt sensor.
Is that good or not?
I don't know. Well, it just means we can tell Angus what is what. Right, so if we go loom side, from there, if I take a photo.
That connection will come off of there though, won't it?
So oil pressure will come off of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then one of them is a signal wire. So have you got, can we do a page scroll? Sure, you've got, there it is. Map, pit, front. You not changed pages?
You put it in gear.
Go on then.
That's the only thing.
Right, battery voltage low. Okay. Right, let's put a charger on it first then.
That's brand new.
See where I've listed them? So that top 5 volt should be a 0.
What? Just put 0?
Yeah, just change it to a 0.
Oh, what 0 do?
Yeah, so it should be, the very top one should be 0. Then the next one down's 5. Like it is, that's right. Then the next one down 0.
Yeah.
Then the next one's down 0.
Yeah.
And the last one is 5.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the oil pressure. So basically my bike uses a 12 volt oil pressure sensor which comes up off the side of the engine and mounts here.
Yep.
The Mectronic uses a 5 volt sensor, and because we didn't have a pin out, so if you look here, Dab, in the back we've got 3 wires going in. Alright, but this is the funny bit now, is because the sensor that was on one bike was a MoTeC 5 volt. Yeah, so we've got 3 wires in it. This one's taped up, so
You've got a bit of a mix and match going on there.
yeah, basically I had the wrong sensor on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Come on in, mate. It's a better one, Dav. Yeah. So we've got 3 pins. So we'll have red is ground. Red is 5 volt, grey is ground, and then pink will be signal. Yeah. So then plug a sensor in line, and it will report the signal back to the ECU. We just need to. Because that is, don't see how you're supposed to really pin that out. Fun connectors to work with. So we know he needs 5 volt sensors. We know we're 5 volt. Now we just need to figure out which one is which, because what's in there? There you go. Like you see, you got 3 pins there. Look, you see. So now what we need to ascertain is which one of those are which colour are those wires. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the next step. So we can then pin out the mating half of the oil pressure correctly. Well, that'll answer why that can work then anyway.
What was it?
So that's broken off there. That is an absolute load of shit. Hate these connectors, they're rubbish. Right, Coops, can you go, please, mate?
Yeah.
Look. Fucking. So the grey is ground. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Could you see the red next to it?
They're touching, aren't they?
They're touching.
Yeah, so that's never giving you.
That's not good.
Right, mate.
Load of hillbillies, isn't it?
So the top one is.
Hold on, I need to go back on.
Yeah, along the top, mate.
So these were Dutch guys, were they?
How do I get back? There you go. Yeah, you want to be on there, don't you?
Yeah, right. So the top line says 0.
0 V, yeah.
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 Is 0. Sorry, it's grey and black.
Grey / black.
Yeah. The next one is red.
Yeah.
Then it's gap, and last one is pink.
You want the 5-volt pink?
Yes, please, mate.
What? So what do I put in them and just leave them blank?
Just leave them blank, please, mate. Right. So here's where this causes a problem, right? Is because you can set oil pressure strategies. So if your oil pressure drops, right?
Yep.
You can cut the bike out, or you can cut the engine out. Now we do it on all our big power stuff. So riders going along, they tip into a corner, they're touching, which is why the first time, well, it's broken, but they're touching, right? This is why you never ever use solder, especially in motorsport. You use crimps, even when you repair OEM looms. So right, you've got an oil pressure strategy set, yeah, and that's broken like that, or that's touching like it is,
See it, okay.
and you tip into a corner, and that shorts the oil pressure out.
Yep.
Oil pressure goes to zero. What happens to the bike? Bike cuts out. You're sat on your knee. There's nothing to pick the bike back up. You crash, right? Now it sounds really, really fucking melodramatic, but that's what happens. That's why you pay a lot of money for motorsport looms, like my loom, right? So if you look at that, which is taped together, and then I go and get you that.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
not going anywhere, is it?
no, but it's so that's built by Angus, who used to do all Shakey's Shakey's data.
Yeah.
So he's Motortronic. He builds everybody's.
Yeah.
Everybody in the paddock is built by Angus except BMW, as in who was not FHO. Who's the other team? That's Neil Sands, isn't it? Synetic. Yeah, and Hawk. But other than that, like, that is shocking. I think what we'll do there, mate, is
Well, we'll get rid of that connection anyway.
we'll get rid of it and we'll put Auto Sport on it. So we need two 5-volt sensors. So can we turn that bike? It will be the same, but I just want to double check that bike.
Yeah.
Can we turn the ignition on that one? What have we got to do? We swap switch gears.
Yeah, we must. No, yeah, this.
What do you need? Oh, the YC plug.
Yeah. We just need to
Right, okay.
temporarily.
So let's have a look at that. So what we'll do here is the little 3-pin ASLs that are on mine, we'll fit those,
Yeah.
right? But
That one.
this is the incremental gain stuff to talk about
Yeah,
in
of course,
motorsport.
yeah.
Right, so that's tucked into the loom, so that'll go there. So it comes up off the side here, Dav, at the main gallery, on a fly lead, and it sits here. So we want a sensor with 100 and, yeah, if we move the sensor up inboard, if we go 100 mil, so sensor mounts here,
Yeah.
100 mil with a connector on, and then I'll pot it that way, that's fine. So that one's sorted.
So where have these bikes come from?
So these were Van Sycaris's last season. So then JD Motorsport bought them this year, and obviously Dan runs them.
Yep.
So this is to run Carter Brown and
Morgan McLaren Wood.
right in Supersport this year.
Cool.
Now
In reality, it would have been quicker to build 2 brand new bikes.
Yeah. I think you've had a hard time with them, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's.
Because you're mapping.
You don't know what they've done.
No, which is what we're
Constantly
exploring.
Investigating.
Yeah. So imagine this, right? They go to first round or they go to test, because obviously Dan will take them out to Navarra testing. You can chase a cutting out problem,
Yeah.
and it's oil pressure. Now, all right, you would look at the data and go, why is oil pressure cutting in and out? And you'd go hunting for that problem. But it takes someone to look through the data. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can just Well, it was like last year, wasn't it? Do you remember when my regulator rectifier melted?
Yeah.
And we went through fuel, put a battery on it, but because we had data, we found it pretty quick on mine, didn't we? Because it was. Right, one problem sorted. Let's turn that off.
One down.
One down. We'll check the pinout is the same, which it should be, but we don't want to assume anything.
Makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, there you go, look. You see?
Yep.
But look where they've stripped the wire back.
Yeah.
And it's crossing over the soldering for the other pin.
It's insane.
Not good. And then they've melted the.
Yep.
So we need to correct that. So again, it is grey, red. Right, so which is which? Because they're both the same. So how are you supposed to identify which one's pot and which one's brake then? Because they're both exactly the same and they're not labelled.
Now we're cooking.
That's basically the subloom for rear pot, rear suspension pot and rear brake pressure.
Yep.
Right. How do you identify which is which then? Because they're two identical connectors.
That's your $1 million question.
It is. So if you end up plugging your pot in your suspension and your suspension in your pot.
I suppose the only way you can try it is
on
go on
there,
there
yeah.
and see which one does what.
Yeah. So again, you would label it normally. Right,
Yeah.
let's get a pair of pliers on that and try to back that screw off. Right, we've got nothing, so we need to go into ignition. Right, so if we come back out of gear. Right, there you go. Right, so if I go into this one, do I get a pot or a brake? Right, suspension rear.
Yeah.
Right, so this one then, if we mark that,
A
is
little sticky label or something. Been out on that push bike yet?
I got turbo training in garage.
Have you?
Mate, it's baller.
Is it alright that little
Fucking
bike?
trick as fuck, mate.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
one little pen, yeah?
Okay, in that pot on the top there, mate, please.
It's like watching a surgeon at work here,
Is it?
diagnosing.
So what we've done there is we've just identified on the bike which one of those two is a suspension pot.
Yep.
Yeah. So that we can then label it properly and we know which one's brake and which one's pot. So what we do is we do the same on this bike to make sure everything is the same.
Yeah, make sure it's working. Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That goes into my 2D. You just want to buy my bike off me?
Well, this is the problem, do you know what I mean? You waste, it's just time, innit? If it was all brand new and you started from scratch, you'd buy two of the same of everything.
She's awake.
You're on.
Right, so what's missing off yours is, right, that should be in a 6-pin housing, not a 4-pin housing.
What, and
See?
then that would work?
And then that would work.
Right, okay, so I need to get some
It
of
is
these
fucking,
connectors.
it is pinned up weird, but. So you're red, black, green, white.
Right,
So you're just a 2-pin, and it needs to be a 6-pin.
right, so I need to get that 6-pin. Then that will work. So we're cooking on gas, are we? Yeah. We are.
Yeah, now I need to put my run switch on. So where's my switch gear? So if I go run,
Yeah. It's
Right.
making a noise.
there we go, so that works.
Sweet.
All right.
That's good.
Right, so we
Put
know
that-
the rear subloom works, because I just jumped
Oh,
the
I
wire.
see. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, you've done the boss name. Yeah.
So if I pull that out, right, so that's your power off. So you need a mate in half of that.
Yeah, I need one of them, there, whatever that is, to get that, and then I need a 6-pin,
A 6-pin of
double
that.
both sides of that. But I presume I'll have to. Just
Well,
buy the
this
whole
is already a
complete-
6. These are already both 6s, so you haven't got to do anything with the cut, you haven't got to do anything with the loom. So you need
Yeah, we just need to change that to
to
a,
a sit. You
a
need
female
Yeah,
6-pin.
yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you wrap all that tape around that for no reason?
I'm starting to question my life, Daniel.
What is that all about? Why make it look like a?
Tell you what though, I'm starting to think I'm fucking good at this.
This could be a career move here, bud.
I know.
I wouldn't. Stick to your cars.
But it's like, look, there's loads in there and all. Right, so how many splitters we taking out?
So that needs to go on to this bike anyway, TPMS.
Right.
Because that box there, just that bit there, from there to there is 2,000 quid. Just that.
So basically, look, we've got can 2 bike. One's a 4-pin, one's a 6-pin. So those two looms are different.
Are they?
Yeah.
In what way? The
One's
connections?
a 4, yeah. So what we need to do is
Yeah,
we
but-
need to repin. We need to put a 6-pin connector
Yeah,
on that
because
one.
even though that's a 6-pin, it's only using 4 of the pins
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So obviously the loom has got 6 on it.
Yeah.
And that loom's got 6 on it.
Yeah. So it's easier to change
It's easier
that to a 6.
Yeah.
And then we're not modifying the loom.
Yeah. So that is it.
Okay.
So I need a 4-pin, a 6-pin female, and I'll get you a spare. And then we need the white for the power to do your switch.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's got the grey on this end.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Right, sorted.
Wilf's going to make a sub-loom thing to convert,
To do your switches.
to do the switch, the right-hand
There you
switch.
go.
gear.
Just by doing that, look, we've pulled out bloody. There's 1, 2, 3 splitters.
Yeah, but this needs to go on to this bike. So where was it plugged in?
Right. So if we get this bike to the point where you can switch it on, then yeah. So that was on there, like so. Yeah. That's your CAN bus. So that's your main control.
Right.
Yeah. So that's in there. Right.
Put
Then
the,
this one. So what we need to do now is.
oh yeah, so I see it splits them.
Yeah. So like I can go straight into that,
Yeah.
but I need another splitter now. So if you grab me a splitter, please, mate. That goes in there. That one goes into that one. And then the other one goes into my hand. Yeah? And then you somehow got to make sure that when your boy throws it in the gravel. Right.
That is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
That goes in the back of the dash. That goes into there.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. That'll go into there. That'll go into the back of the dash.
That's that. That'll
That's
just sit up on a
obviously
bracket
GPS.
and just make a bracket
Yeah.
like that. That's cool. Okay.
So now this one, if we do the same again, where obviously, say that's your power switch.
Yeah. The only thing is this hasn't got any receivers in the wheels
Right.
at the
Okay.
moment, so I don't know whether it's actually going to tell us whether that's. I suppose it'll. It's got. It was
I
flashing,
don't-
wasn't
I
it?
don't fit. It was. Yeah. That's the logger flashing, I think. Oh, you sticking the kettle on? Good man.
Oh, top man.
Your front pot is on. So did I rob the pot off? No, that's your pot there. What lock stops do you use?
These are 10 carty ones. You see them? There.
Oh, you got to drill a frame though, ain't you?
Yeah. They are good though.
Yeah.
What's on yours? Not them ones that clamp around the fork.
No. Mine are
They come off here, don't they? Off the subframe, off the
Yeah,
clock bracket. Yeah,
yeah.
they're good. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so one last test then. If we take that connector to do me power switch, and I put that on there. Your mudguard's trick, it sits on 2 posts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Well, at the back here, yeah, and then through the thing. Have you seen the bell mouths in these?
Oh, they factory they.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Right, that is on. Run switch on. So I've got.
You haven't got.
Where's that now then, Mush?
Suspension rear. Hold on. The suspension rear is saying 28 mil.
Yeah, because it's open circuit. Right, so where's your front brake pressure plug into then? And where's your rear brake pressure plug into? Honestly, Coop, something's going over the wall in a minute.
I know
Right, so
it's just overcomplicated. Everything is
yeah,
overcomplicated.
it's ridiculous. So you haven't got a front subloom on this then? No, you haven't.
Do I need one of them as well? Do I? Yeah. It's another thing I ain't got.
Right, so hang on then. Have you not got one of these?
No. Don't think so.
This is a
Need
front
one of them.
one. And that goes into that bad boy. Right, should have front.
Yeah, now you've got front.
Right.
14 mil, look.
Got rear. Oh, they're alright, ain't they?
Like them or what?
Does your my filter does that?
Yeah, it just clamps. When this comes down, look, these little tags here, look.
grab hold of it.
You grab hold of it, yeah. Yeah,
It's
that's all
just-
it. Like that. Well, it's not ideal, is it? I don't like it really. But
Do you know what, mate? Hang on, wait, let's bang this one in.
Come on.
Right, so I have got a working front part, a working rear part. Yeah?
yeah.
Right, so that's everything. Right, so you're missing a front lead
So,
because you've only got
can I
one.
just do that? What?
Are both brake pressures the same on both bikes? Front ones. Do you have them coming off the bottom of the master cylinder?
Yeah, so that one.
I saw. I
See
did
here,
see
that?
you have it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's going to go into there. That.
Yeah, and then on the front one here, mate, we had it loose, didn't we?
Yeah, it's on there somewhere.
Front brake part. There it is. So you have it like that. Right. So if I get him to make, you've got
I'm just wondering.
one of
whether-
those connectors on the back.
I'm just wondering whether I should have a spare one of them fly
Well,
leads.
yeah.
Because if it rips the front end, I mean the back one it is unlikely to get damaged because it's under the tank. But this front one,
Yeah, so
That
what
could get-
what I've done is you've got one complete bike's worth. Yeah, so you've got two there for that bike.
yeah,
Angus has got one,
yeah,
which will go on this bike.
Yeah.
Angus is making me two more, so one for the front and then one for a spare. So altogether, you will have.
oh yeah, because Angus
have
has got
both.
one and we've got
Yeah,
one here.
yeah, yeah.
We've got one. That's
yeah,
it. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
he's making me two, so you'll have one spare, and your spare can do front or rear.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Then you've got sensors for everything. He's got rear sensors.
So what have you got?
Yeah, Avio Race. Yeah, look, 5-volt sensors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Avio as well. That's a 5-volt. He's got your rears. We know your pots work.
That is going to get changed to a 6.
We're going to modify that.
They're nice connections, them ones. Or better.
Yeah. Right. I think we're sorted then. I think.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That's
quite
a
involved.
lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, and again, this is where you end up playing around with or figuring out problems, finding other problems, and then trying to find a solution and match it across two bikes, because there's no point having one lot of spares for one bike and one lot of spares for another bike. Hey, they're Gucci, aren't they? Subframe bolts.
Yeah, I've got some there.
Mate, I like them.
Yeah, they're nice, them ones.
So the only person I know that has a bigger race bolt fetish than I do is him. I think he holds his Mrs. Chastity belt on with race bolts. They are nice.
Do you like bolts?
Oh, mate, yeah.
I'm literally shooting a bolt.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, like look at the foot peg ones though. If you go to a foot peg, you've even put them in there and all. What do you do?
yeah.
Do you just buy kits?
No, just order them, don't you?
Individually?
No, don't look at that. They're rubbish. They're ones.
All right,
No,
this
no,
one,
I got-
this one,
I haven't.
this one.
I haven't ordered them yet, but you got.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I do. I do love the
You
bolts.
like a nice tip bolt.
Yeah, I do.
These are nice. Look at these. Tapered head.
Oh yeah. And they're all race bolts, or do you use Pro Bolt?
Race fasteners.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Does a lot of the BSB paddock.
Right. Okay.
Just he makes them, but sends them to the other. You know, he
Right.
actually makes them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of them are just a brand.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Race fasteners.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have a look. I'll have a look.
So
Good stuff.
Right.
somewhere near then.
Yeah. So
Glad I come here.
if we have a wander round then to show you from the top. So what's happened this year is we run you through a little tale. So for years and years and years, British Supersport has been MoTeC Control ECU, which is on my bike.
Yep.
So my bike is legal for British Supersport, but that ends at the end of this year with the electronics it's got on it. So it's Control ECU, so same as British Superbikes. Where they Supersport have gone to these next generation rules to allow the GSXR 750 in, the Ducati V2, the 765 Triumph.
Yeah.
What they've done is they've gone to the World Supersport ECU, which is this Mectronic, right? Because they've got controllable restrictions inside them. So the guy who's in charge of technical rules at BSB now was in charge of technical rules who started next gen in World Superbikes. It's Scott Smart. So things like the Ducati has limited throttle opening, limited RPM, stuff like that to give balance and performance. It's still not quite right because the Ducati is just things at places like Coppice where you're trying to drive out of Coppice down the back straight. The Ducati has so much low end because CCs count, it just drives off the turn. Whereas the R6s, like if you watch Casey last year at Donington, it is spinning its nuts off coming out because he's got to be absolutely on the pipe everywhere to stay with the bigger bikes because CCs count. And if you can be kinder to the tyre, driving off the turn. So I'm not quite sold, I don't know about you, I'm not quite sold on this next gen bollocks.
I've heard that the Honda's being allowed to run bigger pistons.
Is it?
To get it some more oomph. But whether that's true or not.
But it's not, do you know what I mean? It's like a halfway house, isn't it? It's not, I don't know. I think I'm old school, 16,500 RPM, rev the nuts off it, Supersport sort of fan. But it is what it is. Made for good racing last year. But what it has meant is the eligibility has become very, very complicated. So my bike's British Supersport 24, but they don't know whether it's going to be legal in 25 because it's on MoTeC. This was legal last year, but it's not legal next year or this year because Dan's had to have the firmware updated in ECU for the new rules, but now the new firmware doesn't work with a 2D dash, so he's had to buy a new dash, right? And then the switchgear doesn't work with the new dash, so he's had to buy a new switchgear. And then the firmware inside the 2D logger doesn't work with the new dash, so they have to update the logger firmware, and it's just very, very
Ball ache.
expensive.
Yeah.
What are they? 800-900 quid a dash? You got to buy two.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So it feels very higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not been very nice because you've got a bike that is legal one year and then not legal the next year or doesn't quite fit the rules. They've given MoTeC runners an extra 500 RPM on the R6s, but you're not getting it, are you? I don't think
Got 400 rev,
you got 400.
which is okay, but then it also,
Yeah, you're just going to knock rods out.
the engines aren't going to last as
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, they don't struggle with top end power. They struggle with
No,
off the
it's
turn.
not. You
Yeah,
need torque.
you need to get it off the turn. So yeah, it's a little bit lost at the minute. I think the Supersport class in Worlds and in British.
I think they're trying to accommodate to these older bikes today as well, instead of, because some manufacturers haven't brought out new bikes, or
Yeah.
not new bikes, but they haven't got a bigger engine bike.
Yeah,
So they're trying to make it fair for the.
they're trying to allow more in, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be 600 4-stroke, 600 4-cylinders, and 752s.
And 675 triple.
Yeah, and now it's kind of like, yeah, now you're allowed. What are the V2s? 900s.
Yeah, 899.
So
is it?
with restrictions and 765 Triumphs, 750 GSXR 4-cylinders, And they did bloody well last year, didn't they? For an old bike, they did well last year.
They are
Jamie
good,
Perrin and Rhys Irwin was on them, wasn't he?
Irwin, yeah, went very well, yeah.
So yeah, just the class is a little bit lost at the minute, and while they're trying to figure out the rules, it's just costing everyone a lot of money to keep in the rules, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Another good job then, mate.
well, hopefully we'll be all right. Find out when he gets into Navarra and blames me.
Califat, 3 weeks time.
Oh, Califat, innit? Yeah. So yeah,
Find out.
right. I think we got to the bottom of your problems, haven't we?
I think so, mate. Thank you very much.
So,
I
yeah.
think we're somewhere near.
Right, let's go and do mine now.
Good days.
So smash buttons. Go follow JDE Motorsport. Go and follow Dan Cooper Motorsport. The old TT hero that he is.
Don't know about
Hey?
that. Don't know about that.
No, you did all right.
We done all right. We had a go.
We did all right. On Honda as well.
On Honda. I like Hondas.
Yeah, we know you like Hondas. More turned on by a Honda on Dunlops and your missus, isn't you, mate?
Don't say that. Get me in trouble.
What is it? You remember? That's Coops' fantasy. That is Leanne in one of them Dunlop. Do you remember the old grid girls? The Dunlop grid girls, like used to be in them Dunlop leotard things. That is it. Most blokes are like Princess Leia out of Star Wars. Old Coops is in tyre stuff. Michelin man gives him a right chubby.
Oh, Christ.
Right, on that note.
On that bombshell, smash buttons and we'll see you on the next one.